Hi Jane, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. So tell me Jane, what's been going on with you the past few weeks?
Oh, just a lot of crap at work that's just kind of bringing me down.
So, so nothing has really changed since our last meeting?
No, not really. Just more of the same, you know. I am the assistant, but I'm doing pretty much everything in the classroom, and I'm not being recognized for it as far as salary goes. I get a lot of atta girls, so, great job from my my director and my assistant director, but nothing in my paycheck. This is very frustrating.
Why do you think that's the case?
Why do you think that I'm not being paid?
Well, let's talk about that first. Why do you think that they're not paying you what you think your self-worth is?
Well, since I'm classified as an assistant, I'm on a different pay scale than the teachers. The teachers are, it's a Montessori preschool, so the lead teachers are all Montessori certified. So I'm not Montessori certified. I have what they call group leader qualifications, which means if it wasn't a Montessori preschool, I could be the lead teacher in the room. But because it is a Montessori preschool, I can't. And I guess, no money in the budget, or why should we pay her if she's doing all the work anyway? We don't have to pay her.
Now,
So
when
it's
you
kind
get
of depressing.
Now, when you get those, and I'll use your atta girl compliments, how does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel good. I know that management is recognizing the job that I'm doing. Just, it'd be nice to be paid for what I'm doing. But
Paid more. You
right. But an atta girl, I guess at least I get that. So, sometimes I feel I should probably just be happy with that and stop complaining and venting that, I'm not, but it is what it is.
And where do you think this comes from?
What do I think?
Your perception, their perception. Where do you think it comes from?
I don't know.
I want to divulge a little deeper into your work mentality,
Okay.
and your, I guess, feeling of unappreciativeness,
Okay.
which I know probably is just a made-up word, but we're going with it.
Unappreciation.
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
So, do you think, for starters, your work mentality, where did that come from?
Well, I know my work ethic comes from probably from my father. Although I don't take it to his extreme, he was kind of a perfectionist. I'm not a perfectionist at work, I don't think. But if something needs to be done and somebody else, my lead teacher, is not doing it, and it needs to get done, then I do it. But I'm not a perfectionist. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. But if I see something that, like I said, if I see something that needs to be done, I'll do it. But then I'll pitch about it afterwards.
Right.
Saying why, this isn't my job. And, there are days where I'm like, okay, I'm only the assistant. I'm just looking the other way. You're in charge. I mean, I don't say this to my coworker, but I think I'm like, well, okay, you're in charge. I'm gonna let the classroom fall down around us, and I'm not gonna really lift a finger to do anything. But that's just not in my nature to do that for too long.
So even though that you say, oh, I'm just gonna sit back and just let things go, and if you still,
I pretty much can't.
You still jump in.
Yeah,
pretty
I pretty
much.
much will do that for a day, and then I really can't do it. It's just not in my nature to do that.
Right.
So.
Now, why do you think it comes this work ethic? Why do you think it comes from your father? but not so much you?
Well, my father was like I said, he was a perfectionist, and he was devoted to his job, and I get my work ethic, I think, from him. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, so I can't really say it comes from her. So.
Does this work ethic also coincide maybe when you were growing up with your schooling too? I'm just trying to get a picture of where I guess the need.
I think I was more of a perfectionist and hard worker. I think as a student when I was younger, I studied a lot. I got, good grades were important to the family. It was important to me to, I guess, please my parents with good grades. So I worked really hard at school. But as I got older, the perfectionist in me, I guess, lessened.
But it's still there in a way.
Well, I don't know if the perfectionism is still there. The need to pick up the slack if something's not being done. Well, it has to get done. If you're not going to do it and you're not going to do it, then I have to do it.
Right. That's
really a hard thing for me to let go. I'd like to be able to say, well, you know what? That's not my job. You're not paying me to do that, so guess what? I'm not going to do it. But it's just not in my nature. I can't. I'd like to. I wish I could do it. I think I'd be a lot happier at work if I could let a lot of things go. But I can't.
I want you to try that as a goal for this week. All right, your goal is to just let things go and brush it off your shoulder, and I don't want you to feel the need to have to jump in and I guess be a savior.
Okay.
And everything, and just see how many days and how many situations that happens, and see what your reaction is. I want you. There's gonna be probably 5 times that this is gonna happen. I want you on 2 of those situations to not do anything.
Okay.
Just let things go and let it go. And when we get back together next week, and this is not the end of the session, but I just want to get this out now before the end of the session because it's on top of my mind. I just want you to practice that. Just, if something happens, instead of you jumping in and, cleaning up the mess per se, I want you to just let the mess happen and see what happens. And then I'll see what happens around you too. Maybe your lead teacher will have some appreciation for what you do and all that stuff. So I just want you to try that for this week, and then I want you to report back to me next week, about the situations and everything, and yeah.
Okay.
So.
I will try. Don't know how successful I'll be, but I will try.
So I know we haven't been together for a while, but I know in our last session, and I want to talk about it, you experienced some anxiety as far as a trip to New York in May.
Yes.
We kind of just started talking about it. So has anything happened since our last conversation to make you feel less anxious, more anxious, just as anxious?
Well, I'm pretty much just as anxious, maybe even more anxious.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to New York to celebrate my mother-in-law's 85th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
She lives in Florida.
Okay.
My husband, sister, and brother and their families live in New York. So
Okay.
we're going there. My mother-in-law's flying up. It's the least amount of people that have to move around, really.
So from here, who's going?
Me, my husband, my son, my daughter, and her husband. So 5 of us are going.
Right, and you've been mentioning in previous sessions with your son, he's going, but you don't know where he's going to be.
Right, he's looking for, he's job searching right now. He's going to graduate college in another couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
He's job searching, and that's a whole other anxiety issue for me.
We will get to that after we talk about this.
Okay. got a text from my sister-in-law saying that my mother-in-law was in New York for Thanksgiving. And I got a text from my sister-in-law last week saying they all went out to dinner the night before, and it was decided they were moving her party from Saturday to Sunday. And I already booked our tickets. And I booked to leave that Sunday. It's Memorial Day weekend because I want to come home and have Memorial Day to just chill before I go to work.
Plus, I'm sure if you leave Sunday as opposed to Monday, it's probably a little cheaper.
It might have been, I don't know. And I just kind of felt, it was decided. There was no input from me as to whether it was better or not. And I've already booked my flight, which means now if they outvote us or whatever and want to have this party on Sunday, I now have to change my tickets, which I'm not happy about. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, I could change them. What I'm really not happy about is the fact that I was told, it's been decided. And no one asked my husband or me how we felt about it. We're throwing this party for my mother-in-law, and economically, we are splitting the cost of the party, and I think my opinion should have been asked. So I'm a little ticked about that, and I guess that's just adding to the anxiety of getting together with the family, which just presents its whole other set of issues. So,
would you like to talk about those issues? We have the time.
Well, just the usual bullshit, excuse my French.
It's okay.
My mother-in-law favoring, go ahead.
In counseling sessions, you are allowed to be yourself, so if you need to say words like shit or the F word, don't feel afraid not to. It's getting your emotions out and everything.
Right,
so if that's how you really feel,
the
don't
usual bullshit.
Don't sugarcoat it.
My mother-in-law favors her daughter and her daughter's children, and it's very obvious. And sometimes it's like, big deal, who cares? And other times, I kind of feel I'm 61 years old. My husband is 61 years old. If she favors my sister-in-law, we're 61. We could take it, but I think sometimes her favoritism of her daughter's children, that I take umbrage to, because you're hurting my children, you're hurting my brother-in-law's children. So I'm just expecting it's going to be a celebration of, that one side of the family. And it's only exacerbated by the fact that my sister-in-law has grandchildren. So now this is my mother-in-law's great-grandchildren, so everything rises and shines on them. It's just a cycle, and I'm 61. I should get over it, but I'm not looking forward to this trip, but I really should be.
What are some things that you can do to get over this, per se?
Just ignore it.
And it's easy to ignore, but sometimes when things are right in front of you, it's hard to ignore. So it's in front of you. How are you going to ignore it?
I don't know. I'm just going to try my best to, not let it bother me. We're going to spend some time on this trip away. Like, I'm not spending all, however many days we want. We're not spending all the time with the family. We do some things on our own 1 or 2 days, so maybe I might see a friend or two, so that'll help. So that I'm not with them 24/7. We're not staying with anybody, we're staying in hotels, so that if it gets too much, I can just leave. It's not like I'm stuck because I'm staying in that person's house.
You could always leave and just come back later.
Yeah.
So I know you've talked about in the past, as far as with the family, not so much your daughter, but about your son and you talked, like, I remember, like, I think the last time you guys went to New York for something big, and you were talking about your son's insecurities with this particular part of the family. Do you think this is a good trip for him? Do you think these trips or do you think these issues are gonna pop up again?
I think the issue might pop up for him, and I hope that he can handle it. Unfortunately, this is what we call a command performance, which is you have to be there type of thing, and I want to be there. She's turning 85, and so I do worry about how he's going to handle it, but I hope that, he's a few years older and wiser, and hopefully he can handle it better. We'll see.
Well, we shall see. Hopefully this party goes off well, and there won't be a situation where he'll feel insecure or actually have the need to speak up.
Right.
I know you've been saying in previous sessions, sometimes he's a little more vocal about some of his frustrations with the family, and hopefully this isn't the situation where everything explodes and he's sitting right in front of me. So you were talking about a new kind of anxiety as far as with your son. You're saying he's finishing school, and the job search begins, and the job search is always stressful to begin with. But I just go into it. Tell me.
Well, I worry about how he'll handle he has to take these board exams for music therapy to become a certified therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he passes the first time, but I wonder if he doesn't pass the first time, how he'll react, and the job search, how long it'll take for him to find a job in his field, and where the job's going to be, because I'd really like him to stay in state where we are in Colorado, but I realize that if the jobs aren't here and the job is elsewhere, he has to go. But I worry about him being alone in a city without any family support or friend support. So that's stressful for me, and I have to, I try not to show it so that he doesn't get stressed out by my stress. So.
I mean, ultimately, in the end, you just want what's best for your children.
Right. I mean, if he can find a great job and it's, out of state, I'm not going to stop him I can't stop him from going. He's 34 years old, but I'm hoping he finds something in state or close to where we are.
Do you think a lot of your anxiety has to do with what happened to him in the past from what you told me?
Well, he has left Colorado twice to try and start a life for himself, and he's come back twice because things have just not worked out for him, and so I'm hoping the third time's a charm. I'm hoping that he's older. I mean, the first time he left, he was in his early 20s. So I'm hoping he's older and wiser, and doesn't allow this. He also stresses a lot, so I'm hoping that he can handle the stress a little bit better this time, and let us know what's happening with him stress-wise and feelings-wise before it explodes. So, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I can understand that you want, as a parent, you want your children to be safe, and you want them to be around so you can kind of keep an eye on them even if they're not around, but at the same time you have to let them go, and if the opportunity comes, like, for example, I know one of my friends, they just left for Houston, and some of the parents in that case were not too happy about it, but I think deep down, my friend's father is happy because he just wants the best. You want your children to have the best opportunity, and and a better life, and if that means going out of state for more money, then yeah, feelings will be hurt, but ultimately families.
That's why airplanes were invented. So
yeah, and in today's age of Skype and FaceTime and text messaging, you're not really that. I mean, look at me. I'm from New York, and I'm not giving it out, but my cell phone number is still a New York number. I didn't have to change it over to Colorado and everything, so it'd be more of a hassle to text everyone and be like, hey, I got your number every time you leave state and everything. So, so all right. Is there anything else? How are we on time? Is there anything else that you would like to talk about? Any anxieties? Any feelings?
No, I just gotta work on the work stuff, not jumping into handle situations that are really not my job, and see if I can sit on my hands and not do that.
Right.
Not stress about this trip to New York. Things haven't happened.
Right, exactly.
So I shouldn't be inviting trouble before it happens.
Right.
Because I could just make it miserable for myself
and for the people around you.
And for the people around me. And
so
just hope somebody hires my son. Hope he gets a job. Hope he passes his boards, and hope the job is close. That's all you can hope for.
Yeah.
And if not, I guess I have a reason to get on a plane and fly to Columbus or San Diego or Bellevue, Washington, or Miami, Florida. It'll give me an excuse to go. So.
Right. Except if you go to Miami, you might have to visit your mother-in-law. Sounds like, since that's where she lives.
That's true.
So
I'll have to go without letting her know. So I'll try the thing you asked me to do about work, and I will let you know. Do we have an appointment next week?
We have. Let me check my schedule thing. Yes, we have an appointment on the 16th at 4 o'clock.
Okay, so then I'll let you know how the work thing went.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, well, thank you for your time today, and I will see you on the 16th.
Okay, thank you very much.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.